years I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back for Ready to Love, episode 6. And there was a double elimination and also the Diddy pose. How's everybody doing today? Ron, how are you?
Doing good. Watching my Lions give it away.
Oh no! I forgot they were playing today. No, don't say that. Don't say that, Ron. JR, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. All is good. How are
All
you
is
doing?
good. I'm good. I'm doing very good. Guys, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hope all is well with you guys out there. And just drop on in. Let us know how the weather is going where you are. Tell us how you are doing. Check in with us. And we're so glad to have you here. Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay. What did you guys think about the episode this week? JR.
Yeah, the episode was okay. I think last week was uh, a bit better, in my opinion.
Okay. You enjoyed it
Seemed like
more?
yeah,
Okay.
it seemed like there was more fun. This one was a bit more serious, delving into the vulnerability side of things with the men. So yeah, it was an okay episode. How about you?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I did think that some of the people went deep this week and were vulnerable, and some were not as vulnerable. Ryan, what about yourself? What'd you think?
Yeah, yeah. I don't like those type of episodes. Too much crying on cue. Too much trying to find a storyline. Like, you know, I don't know. When you put people on the spot like that, they kind of come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, uh, it's I don't know. It's just very cliche of Ready to Love. Everybody kind of already studies the format. So a little tear here, a little mental health, church. You're all the same little speaking lines and stuff that they know that the audience kind of follows and stuff. But sometimes I want
Yeah,
to be a little more
a little more
different. Yeah, yeah,
original.
yeah, a little more original.
Okay. Well, we had some good ones though. We did have a surprise paternity test and baby found out about, and we did have someone speaking, like you said, about the mental health, the whole mental health issues of it all, and schizophrenia, which is a very serious condition. Um, I don't know. I was shocked. Who was the young lady who actually hit her head and was concussed? Who was that? Tell me her name, you guys. Um,
Nicole?
on the date with was that now not Nicole?
No.
It was a date with
Oh,
Lauren.
Shannon. Was that Shannon?
Shannon, that's what it was. It was Shannon. Shannon, yeah. I was a little shocked by that and had me wondering, she said she's still dealing with the impact of that. So there was some vulnerability. The geeky girl. Yeah, Shannon. You're so silly, Babs. Yes, yes. The nice geeky Michelle Obama lady. Yes, we love her. We love her. She's our first lady, maybe possibly coming up. We don't know. But yeah, I thought some of it was not to your point, JR, not as much suspense and interest as it was last week, but still, all in all, a good week, a chance for us to get to see them in a different light. Um, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Okay, so we had a little bit of a cliffhanger. We left off with uh, D- Devon and Uncle Cousin Tommy basically deciding, getting ready to make the announcement as to who was going to stay between the women. They were shocked. People were shocked. It was like, what? Because guess what? Lo and behold, Christina, who thought she was there to stay because she's so fine and nobody ever seen nobody as beautiful as her, she was eliminated. Were you surprised at all, JR?
No, I wasn't surprised at all, actually. I think the right person went home. I think her guy was on the show, and I don't think she did herself any favors by the way she endeared herself to the guys. So, no surprises there. In fact, I think, you know, there could have been a double elimination here too, and it would have been fine with me.
Oh gosh, you're so cold. You could be so cold, JR. What about you, Ryan? Were you surprised by the elimination this week at the beginning?
Not really when they was kind of playing the clips because I thought like they were kind of maybe if they had that many clips of her talking about the money and all that stuff like that. That means she said it a lot. I mean that was her whole. Had no shame in the stuff that ain't on camera stuff. For them to get 4 or 5 different shots of her talking about the same thing, that means she was letting it known that that she wanted a provider guy who was going to lead with his money and things of that nature, and especially the guys that they had on this season, plus just the way dating is right now, just the uncertainty of it and stuff. Men they ain't doing that. They ain't about to. They don't want to feel like they're being used. They want to feel like if they lose their job or something in this environment, you ain't gonna be around. You only hear, what I mean. You only hear because what he can provide or what he can do with things of that nature. And it's just I don't care how good looking or fine you are. If I can't count on you being there,
Right, to
for
be
good or bad, it doesn't matter then. I mean, basically, I have nothing. No matter what you think I have, I don't have anything. And I'm not sure if she's 100% like that, but she didn't do a very good job of selling it if she wasn't.
yeah,
So you got to
Christina.
say, hey, I like a provider and the money, but this is what I bring and this and the loyalty. And if he, what I mean, you got to be able to explain the whole gamut. You can't just say, my daddy provided, so I need to, or all this. That doesn't mean nothing to a man. A man can't comprehend that. You don't know what it is.
Right, right. We were wondering, I think it was an episode or two ago with Christina, the ladies, we were all wondering, what is it, like you said, Ryan, what is it she's providing? Also, I mean, like she talked about this very wonderful traditional sounding relationship that her parents have, but is she providing those same traditional values? Is she going to the distance and length that her mother probably goes to? Like I remember back in the day, my dad, who wore a uniform white shirt to work every day, my mother would wash, launder, and bleach and iron his white shirt to perfection, like better than any dry cleaner. He wouldn't let the dry cleaner even touch his shirt because being former military, it had to be precise. And my mother loved doing that for him, running a bath for him when he got home from work. Different things that women now sometimes would look down their nose at. Well, I'm not going to be cooking in front of a hot stove all afternoon and running in bath water and ironing shirts. I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. So we really didn't get a sense of that. She was willing to give what her mother gave, just as she wants a guy to give what her dad gave her mom, right?
Yeah, and like I say, I don't know if that's the case that she wasn't doing anything and bringing stuff to the table. But in Detroit, being from there and stuff, there's men in Detroit that my auntie's got men that been giving them money every 80 years old, still sending them money you pay in the mail and stuff. Just to have dudes that throw some money, just to have you come out, have a good looking woman around for a little bit and stuff like that. But those guys ain't never married nobody. They do that to not have to be in a marriage or not have to produce that every single day or every single week. Yeah, I do it a couple times a month. I throw you a little money. You know what I mean? And women get used to that type of treatment and stuff and think that that's what a marriage is, or that's what they expect out of a long-term relationship. And those men are not ever offered that. They don't even try to offer that. They don't even want that. They just say, hey, come on here, let's have a little meal, nice little meal and stuff. I feel like having a little company today, or I feel like, this, and that. And you get enough guys doing that, you feel like this is what you expect, and you start turning that into expectations. But a husband is a whole different beast, whole different thing. And if you don't know what that is, or you don't know what the responsibility of a man who has to bring energy and stability and everything to a relationship every single day, 7 days a week, 24 hours, he's not gonna come like that. There's a whole, you know what I mean? You have to be able to adapt to a different lifestyle.
Right, right. And I think maybe too, maybe us as Black women, we have to recognize that there's a large group of men, um, be they Black or white, um, that or any race at this point, that in that 45, 50 and under group, they're not looking to get married necessarily anyway. The woman may be looking for the stability of a home and a family, a husband, so that she can have children with inside of a marriage because it protects the wife and it protects the children. But men, now with so many women that, men have children, so many children outside of wedlock, they're no longer interested in waiting for marriage to have children or marry for any purpose. They don't see A lot of men don't see marriage as being particularly useful, especially maybe even financially.
Yeah, they don't. And then like he made the comment, not in this episode, but in the other episode that when men care about their money. So when a man spends money, he's showing that he cares about me long term. And that's not true. It's really kind of the opposite. Man to throw a little money at a situation to not have to deal with it emotionally or wholeheartedly or put his all into it. So to him, hey, I got an extra little $600-800 here this month. I'll throw it out. You know what I mean? To not to be, you know what I mean, to be bothered when I want to be bothered and stuff like that. It's a
Right.
different type of responsibility to take care of a woman, not just financially, even more emotionally, but to
Yes.
do it every day, 7 days a week, 365 days. You know what I mean, and everything, and have a program, be a leader, work your program, and those things. And I didn't see her mentioning those things as important. I mean, those are the most important things about it. Any man can throw a little money at some stuff. Trust me. Once
Okay.
once a man
Hmm.
get used to putting some money, once a man get used to giving anybody $800, $900 a month, you know what I mean? Like to him, it doesn't even matter no more. This is part of what he spends that on. Um, I've seen a lot of men that would throw a little money out of some situations, and you'd be like, man, what you spending that money on? I ain't worried about that because he's used to paying that, or he's used to doing this. Does not mean that he has any emotional value towards the situation and what he's paying.
Okay.
That's false.
And a little bit change of topic. I wanted to ask you because maybe you might have some information. JR and I were talking about this, and you were having trouble with your communication, so you had to go out and you kind of missed this. We're trying to figure out, when is this filmed, because you have Darius always wearing the fur coats. What's up with that? JR was wondering if that was a Detroit thing, which I had to tell him, no, it's absolutely not a Detroit thing to wear fur coats in the summer. Our summers here are too hot.
I don't think it was in the summer. I think they were kind of spring still. I
Hmm.
do think I've seen that fur kind of blazer thing that he wear. I saw a lot of, like, when they did that Jeezy concert with all black when everybody was dressed up. I saw a few guys in some pictures wearing that, so that might have been his thing he was selling. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It might
Yeah,
be, yeah.
yeah.
So he might be his little style he's marketing.
That's what I was
Um,
thinking. He's
yeah.
doing some kind of marketing for someone back home in Detroit, because I don't know, but I just know that people, it's not a Detroit thing, guys, just so you know. It's not a Detroit thing to wear furs in the summer. If this is in the spring, it's very possible early spring, but I just don't know because we don't see anybody else with any jackets or coats on. I know he's a guy, he's wearing his jacket, but over his jacket, he's got the fur coat on.
But I mean, I think as a castmate, you're on TV. First thing you do before you even go on the show is you pick your 10 best outfits, right? And then
Okay.
you find out in the show that we do so much changing of outfits, you don't need 10 outfits, you need 30. Now
Ah,
you got to scramble.
okay. Yeah, okay. All right, that makes sense. Well, we move on to so Uncle Nephew Tommy has given us all this the ladies that we have to go deep this week. We want to be vulnerable and to pull those skeletons out the closet. Everybody has to pull their skeletons out the closet and be willing to talk about their skeletons. So we get to the first date, where we end up doing some hot yoga instead of Pilates. Um, and I really wish I could have been at this trap studio. I really wish. I have not done my yoga in a great little while, and I'm missing the stretch. I think this would be very good for me for mobility. JR, what do you think? Would this help me out with my mobility, doing the stretches and all the stuff that hot yoga provides?
Absolutely. The heat from the hot yoga loosens up the muscles and the joints, and
Okay.
the exercises give you good range of motion. So yeah,
Oh,
definitely work.
okay. I'm definitely gonna have to, because I've been saying for years. So I be honest, I practice regular yoga, not hot yoga, but I have been saying that I was going to try hot yoga. So I think this would be a particularly good time for me to try it. But on this date, we had Vince, we had Chris, we had Steven, the ladies, let's see, we had Donna, and we had guys, help me out here. You know I'm hard with these names here. Um we had Donna. Oh, we had Donna and we had Nicole there for the hot yoga. And I don't know, they were doing all kinds of little poses here, but we move over to Donna. Donna and Chris, they begin to have a conversation. And Donna says to us in the confessionals, I'm going to give Chris another chance. I notice he's very chatty. He doesn't seem to like to listen, but I want to give him another chance. So they sit down after the yoga class, the two of them, and they begin a conversation. And she's asking him, and he's telling her that when he was younger, he had a gap in his teeth, he had keloid skin, he had skin condition. He didn't consider himself to be as attractive as some of the guys who were getting all the girls. So he began to learn about how to have conversational skills. And she tries to get in a couple questions, and he kind of breezes past her questions, and he's just going on and on. And you get the idea as we're watching this date that he's doing 95 or 99.99999999999% of the conversation. What did you think about this date, Ron?
Yeah, I think it kind of exposed him. We were all kind of thinking, with some of it was something off about him, right? Some of the mannerisms, some of the way,
Mhm.
what I mean, the way he was acting sometimes. But now we kind of see that it's based a lot on insecurities. And when you're on this show, that can heighten because you're mixing the competition aspect in with it. And
Okay.
for a person with some insecurities, the last thing you need is this level of competition. Because it's high level competition. You don't know
Mhm.
anything. You don't know who's talking to who. Like we watch it on, like, as the audience, as y'all watch it on TV,
Mhm.
it's kind of like how we're experiencing it for the first time because we don't see everybody's dates. We don't hear about everybody's dates. We don't know who's talking to who on the phone. So when you're talking to a woman, you think in your head, ego wise, that, oh, I'm the only one really talking to her. I'm the only one that's having good conversations with her. Yeah, that's my top. This, and that. Not knowing she's having the same conversations with everybody else, probably. And she's probably been on 6 dates with another guy you don't even know about. you don't see that. So all this stuff is going on. And he's just trying to find a connection. And like I say, he's sizing up the guys and things of that nature. And the insecurity is coming out. And that's what's putting them into that shadow. And instead of being able to be cool and confident, which is the ready to love way to kind of make it in as a guy, he becomes chatty, he becomes talking too much, trying to over talk, trying to over validate and things of that nature. And it's not really, it ain't gonna work.
Right, right. And JR, your thoughts on it too? What were your thoughts?
Yeah. So Chris obviously explained how he went through like a ugly duckling phase, and
Mm, yes.
to overcompensate for that, um, learned how to conversate more. But
Mhm.
as we see, his listening skills aren't really up to par because Donna felt like she couldn't get a word in edgeways type thing. So that was a turn off for her, you know. And it's not the first time. I think we see him throughout the rest of the episode, kind of doing the same thing, and he's done it previously as well. So
Yes.
I don't think he's quite self aware enough to know, you know, share a little bit, then allow the person you're speaking to get their shots off as well. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, that's when it's a conversation. It's two way rather than it being just one way where one person's sitting there asking a million questions and then you know, you're kind of coming up with a million answers and then there's no real conversation there, you know.
Right. That is so true. That is
Yeah, he
so true.
got the key word he said was self aware. You got to be self aware about what's going on.
Yes. Yeah. I like what you're saying about that too, JR and Ron. You're right. The self awareness is what's necessary. He
But what's
doesn't.
tough for him is like when
Mhm,
this at this point of where like we see episode 6, he
mhm.
doesn't have a one connection where a woman where he knows that that woman is feeling him regardless, and that could become a little nerve wracking and stuff because you're hearing about everybody else got their number ones and things of that nature, or one that a woman that they know is going to save them. If it
Okay.
comes
Oh
down to
yeah.
elimination, and it don't feel like he has that yet. So he's kind of like, I got a little friend here, a little friend here, a little friendly vibe over here, and you start thinking to yourself, them friendly vibes ain't gonna save me. If it goes down to, I need something a little more concrete, a little more somebody that's reassuring me that we have a connection and we're good. And I don't think he has that, and and it's tough at this stage.
Yeah.
Right. Right. It's a
And
little.
you know what's crazy?
What's
The
that?
crazy thing is I don't think he's even aware that there's a difference between speaking to these ladies and actually having a connection with them, right?
Oh,
So
good point. Good
so
point.
he is talking to them and he may feel like, yeah, like this is a connection, it's going somewhere. But the ladies are like, nah, man, he talks too much, you know. So again, it comes down to self-awareness. I don't think he's aware that they're not really checking for him the way he thinks they may be. They're just
Mm,
giving him the opportunity to speak, but not necessarily to progress into a romantic relationship.
mm.
And a lot of men get tricked on a show like this because every woman on the show is going to be nice to you. That's the difference between dating on Ready to Love and dating in metropolitan Detroit. Dating in
Right.
metropolitan
A
Detroit,
real.
they ain't everybody gonna be nice to you. People gonna tell you this, you wanna get go. On Ready to Love, in the bubble of Ready to Love, every woman's gonna pick up your phone call. Every woman's gonna check in on you and say hi. Every woman's gonna give you a good, at least every time you call them. I don't care if they're busy or not with the kids, whatever, gonna give you at least 15, 20 minutes on the phone. So you think, oh, I ain't never had that before. They ain't, because these women are so nice. They must be feeling me. No, that's the part that they have to do that.
But
Mhm.
Jaguar has an interesting perspective. She says it sounds to her like it's a coping mechanism that Chris maybe has. As he said, he wasn't considered attractive earlier on in life, so it sounds like he tried to make up for his lack of looks by talking to compensate, and it's just too much. So yeah, I think that's a good point that it definitely could be a coping mechanism, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying as well. I agree.
Yeah, it is definitely a coping mechanism, and but still that lack of self-awareness is just a lot. So but we move over to the next date and we have Vince and Donna, and they are stretching each other out. Look
That-
at that.
That's
That might
Vincent
also
Nicole,
help. Nicole, who did I say?
Donna.
Donna. Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. Nicole. Nicole and Vince, they're stretching, they're stretching, they're stretching. And Nicole lets Vince know when the stretch part is over with and they're just sitting and talking. She begins to let Vince know that, you know, how I told everybody I'm not so sure if I want to have children? Is actually, I have a fear of having children because I don't know if I'll make a great mother or not. And Vince gets very serious for once and he says, well, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because when my kids were in fourth grade, I had a conversation with them on the way to school, and I told them, I said, you know how you guys are learning things in school that are new to you? You never did it before, you never spelled that word before, had that science paper or science experiment. I, as a parent, this is new to me. You guys are my first go round, and I'm kind of learning as I go. So I hope you guys will bear with me, And that was a very vulnerable moment for him with her. What did you think of that moment, Ron?
I actually like this moment. I think it was a human moment. I think it was a teaching moment, and
Mhm.
women love to learn from men.
Yep.
So when you as a man can put yourself in a teaching leadership mode to a woman, it shows it builds attraction out of that might not have been there before or she didn't think was there. So it seemed like it definitely helped his cause to be able to speak on something that he had more expertise on and kind of culture through. Um, I get a little wary when a woman is not 100% um agreeable on her status of children or not. I feel like women should know, right? At a
Right.
certain age. You know what I mean? Like, do you want
Especially
kids or
your
not?
30,
And if you're talking
right.
about you don't want no kids and now you changing, you know what I mean? I wouldn't believe that. I'm gonna take you as you don't want no, you know what I mean? You ain't really looking for no kids at a certain point. You know what I mean? Because we do know in the history of Ready to Love, the women who ends up saying that stuff get penalized when they say they don't want no kids. Because even when the men who got kids and don't want no kids, they still want the option to be open.
Right, right. That is true. That is true. That is so true. JR, any thoughts on this date or this moment?
Yeah, she came into the show obviously saying that she didn't want kids. I would like to know what changed her opinion. You know, um, what specific incident or date was it during the show that made her change her mind completely? Because having kids is a it's a goal, it's a blessing, it's a commitment to raising children for the rest of your life. So to go from one position of I don't want them to now, I do want them. I would just like to know more about where that shift came.
Well, you see what else it says on the screen. She says Nicole wants to have Ed's kids only. That's what that was about.
Mhm.
That old college crush. But we move forward to Donna and Steve. JR, what did you think about what these two were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think these two get on well. They look like they could be a potential match to some degree. She's a mathematician, he's a teacher. Uh, I think they got on well. I think they had a good date here.
I did too. I like this date. Ron, what about you?
I didn't see the match really. I do think we're gonna see some surprises with
When
some
you, when
matches for
you
Steve because I think he's a solid dude. You know what I mean? Detroit guy that
right
you know what I mean that can balance
when
emotional stuff and things of that nature in order to connect with some of these females down the line. But I don't know something about her. Was going like it's she. It
when
sounds
you
like
say you
she's the type
don't
of person that can say the wrong thing at any given time and it can just turn the tide. So
when you
That's
say
true.
you don't see the match, is what you're saying? If I understand you correctly, Ron, are you saying you don't see their chemistry, or you just see
yeah,
them as
yeah,
like?
that's yeah.
Hmm.
They're both like I said. I think he's the type of guy to get along with. He needed females on there. He's a very level-headed, smooth selling type of guy. Those guys get along, and he's smooth enough to turn the friendship vibes into a little more emotional settings, which is always good. But that doesn't mean that it's a match.
Okay.
If you get what I'm saying, chemistry wise, personality wise, and everything else like that.
Yeah, romantically speaking, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Is that JR? Would you agree with that? What Ron just said?
Yeah, I would agree, especially the part where, I think Donna is the type of person where you could say one thing and it can kind of change the
take
polarity
the
of
whole
the whole
thing. Yeah.
connection. Yeah.
Yeah. She does seem to be kind of outspoken. She's gonna have her say, and she's not shy at all.
And she's also been proven to be judgmental to some degree as well. So,
Yes.
be wary of what you say to her because things could just turn on its head.
Okay. Okay.
And he don't feel like the type of guy. Some guys that are very good at taking that. He don't seem like that type of guy. Until like he gonna be quiet and smooth about it, but he gonna throw some shade right back at
Back
somebody.
at her. Okay. I can feel that. I can feel that. And then we have is it Ashley? Ashley and Chris
Hmm.
on this date, and also part of the yoga date as they were leaving out. Uh Chris decides he wants to talk to her. She does seem a little bit annoyed that maybe he waited to the last minute. And once again, he's, chatty Cathy, just chatty, 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 not allowing her to get too much of a word in. And she doesn't seem to be that impressed with him. What did you think, JR?
No, she wasn't impressed with his vulnerability in this conversation. She said she doesn't like a guy who has a bruised ego because of what he shared. So again, it looks as if he was over talking, but also what he disclosed was a turnoff anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think,
Because I'm sorry, not I didn't drop this in.
yeah,
So he was saying that he had just met someone and fallen in love with them just 5 or 6 months ago, and then the person ghosted him, and he was kind of a little whiny about it, if you will, which I was kind of trying to understand. How does a man talk to a woman when you're telling her about the last situation you had that's now over? So why are you even telling me this, dude?
because he's being vulnerable, and that was the task. So I think, he shared something about not a heart, yeah, was it a heartbreak? He said he fell in love quickly with this
Okay.
person, and then he got ghosted. So yeah, like it's pretty vulnerable, and yeah, that turned her right. So you know,
I don't know. I
uh,
think I would have weighed whether that was being vulnerable with the fact that now you're talking about me as a woman. Once again, you're basically talking about my former competition, who, if you're still talking about her, she may be in the back of your mind. She may be my current competition. So I'm not going to be too eager to hear you talk about that.
yeah. Well, we're gonna get to Ed later, but this is one of the things that Ed could have shared with Nicole about a pain that he had gone through, and he couldn't do it, and that ended up with him getting sent home because he had
Ah,
so.
excellent point. Yes,
But
excellent point.
so I think this is the thing. The task was set for to be vulnerable, but and that's also how you're going to determine who stays this week.
Okay.
With what's being shared, and in Chris's case, it contributed to him being put down in the last two. So,
Okay.
um, not saying to necessarily pick and choose, but you have to be mindful that whatever you share can be used against you to some degree.
Ah, I see your point. I definitely see your point. It's a two-edged sword, with that. You're right. On the next date, we have Lauren, beautiful, tall, uh, Lauren, and we have
Yeah,
Bello.
Bella.
Bello on the Detroit River, on the tiki boat, which is quite cute, cute date. And they're both sitting down talking. And when he shares with her, she says, you seem almost perfect. Do you have a secret wife at home? Because how are you this perfect? You're handsome, you smell good, you're put together, you're successful. And then he begins to become vulnerable with her and tell her, well, just 4 or 5 months ago, he found out that he had a daughter, unbeknownst to him in another state. And that, he is being a father. He wants to be a father to this child. And he's excited about it and he cares about this child. And he's involved in this child's life. Well, what did you think about that, JR?
Yeah, so this was an interesting revelation. I wonder if she shared this with Dominique already, because obviously she's his number one connection, whereas Lauren is just someone on a date with him.
Okay.
Um, so it'd be interesting to know if how much Dominique knows about the situation. But
Yeah. Good point.
yeah, he was vulnerable, and again, he shared something about a previous dating experience. Just like we spoke about with Chris, he shared a previous dating experience. It went one way. Bello shared this, and Lauren was more understanding about the situation. So the date itself was pleasant. Um, I'm not sure if there's going to be a romantic connection there, but it definitely went well.
Yeah, she did let him know. He said, "Well, oh, you probably won't be calling me again." And she said, "Well, no, I'm processing it." But she didn't seem to be the most enthusiastic. But I think that's a big piece of news to drop on someone that didn't know maybe that you had a child. And I don't know if it plays into her mind and her consideration the fact that he had the child with a woman and was not a serious relationship, if you will. Ron, any thoughts on this date?
Yeah, I mean, it hit home a lot. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I when I was on the show, I found out right after that I had a kid. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that was in a different state and everything else that goes with it. So I understand where he's coming from. I think in his situation with her being one, that's why Dominique probably doesn't even know. He probably wasn't even going to tell anybody on the show. And producers said, "Yo, man, it's going to come out. So you need to. I'm going to have her ask you about it, and you can explain your stuff on this date."
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, 'cause they set him down and said, "Man, hey, we know about it. It's these bloggers are relentless. Your stuff it's gonna come out. So it's rather gets to get it out on TV, during this day where you explain and everything cool. Even because
Right.
Bella's a personal type of person, you know what I mean? So he's like, man, I ain't about to till I figured this out and everything else like that. I want to mess up my co-parent situation. I ain't about to bring this up on national
Right.
TV, but they set him down and said, yo, it's probably better that you just do it. And that's kind of how this whole thing played out. I like this couple. This is what I
Hmm.
see chemistry with. And I
Ah,
think
you do see chemistry with Lauren and Bella. Okay,
I
okay.
do. And I think that the women that are judging him for having the kid and the long distance situation, I think they're gonna get over it because I'm in that type of situation. And that person really kind of has when they start getting into the actual lifestyle of dating a person like that. Like I said, most of the time I travel to see my daughter every 3 weeks. I haven't missed 3 weeks since she's been born. But when I'm not there and I'm not doing the 3 weeks or just co-parenting a little chatting on the phone and stuff like video chatting, my life in Houston is a single man. Almost I'm a single man with no kids. You know what I mean? Like it ain't. My house don't have it ain't a bunch of baby carriages and stuff around.
Okay.
Mm.
Ron, you there? Ron, did your sound go out? Because I was going to ask you, Ron, I was going to ask you, being a single dad in the beginning, what was that like? And did women judge you for that? Did they judge you for not being married when you had your daughter, or just maybe wanting to know what the co-parenting style was? If you could come back in, get the audio repaired, I would love to know that. Okay. Um, but El Cid says, I more judge him about gotta have a son. I guess she's saying because he has the daughter and now he's talking about he's gotta have a son. El Cid, why so? Why so? Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, and if he wants to have both, if he wants to have one of each, then that can still be a goal, can still be a thing, and he wants to probably do it in a different circumstance this time, where he's present and in a relationship, marriage, whatever, instead of it being a situation similar to what he has with the daughters.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Being more committed and maybe actually settled in with the mother.
Yeah, and then and maybe make amends for the way the daughter came about. Have the son the right way type thing as well. So
Okay. Okay. Um, Okay. So Elcid is responding. She said the son talks about lineage. It can lead to a more male mindset. Definitely agree with you on that. Yeah, like it's yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So I see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, but
But
is that judgeable though? Is that worth judgment?
um
Why is it okay to have just a daughter and not have a son as well to balance it out?
no, I think what she's saying is, I at least what I gather, and you can correct me, Sid, if you're still here. I think what she's saying is he's just saying that he had to have a son. It's almost like that whole concept of, and you probably will get this, the empirical, the empire. Like only the only person that can rule is a male. The only person good enough in a family, an offspring, is a male, and that
Mhm.
does seem very male centered, and we are women, so of course we're going to be concerned about something that if a guy has a very male centric point of view, it's kind of leaving us out. Half the population in the world are women.
Yeah, he's already got one of those though. So he's already got a daughter. But the thing is, women typically change their maiden name after they get married, right? They change their surname. So in terms
Yes,
of lineage, the
yes,
surname continues with the male. So that's where I think that comes from.
but it can continue with the female as well.
Only if she chooses not to change her surname. Whereas with the male, it's absolute.
Tomatoes, tomatoes, potatoes, potatoes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Men are less likely to change their surname once they get married. So the name stays the same.
I get what you're saying, but to her point, it's just more male centric. That's the concern. You may not have that concern because you are a male. It would be like, I always put this up like, so when men are male centered, then that's interesting to me that black men are male centered and they don't get sexism, but yet they get racism, right? So
Uh,
if the world was saying, hold on, if the guy was saying, well, the only person that matters are white people, that's it, then you don't see that there's a problem with that. And I think the same thing, women think that when men seem to be male centered.
yeah,
It's not
nah.
saying it's not
I,
saying that it's right or wrong. It's just saying that it's a perspective, and you have to consider that other people that are not your gender are going to think about it differently.
yeah, nah, I don't agree with that because, like I said, he's got a daughter. So if he wants a son, it brings balance. That's basically what I get from it. He's not saying male centered in the sense where he wants more male children than women children. He hasn't said that. What he's saying is he would love to have a son. So he's already got a daughter. It just brings a balance where he's got both instead of just
Well,
having a daughter.
you and I and Elsie, we're gonna go round and around the mulberry bush about this because, like Elsie said, her surname, for example, continues through her sons because they have her maiden name as well as their father's last name. So you
Right.
see how that goes.
Yeah, that's an option. But again, that's a different circumstance. Elsa has a husband and they chose to do that. Whereas in Bello's condition, situation,
Okay.
he only found out about the child 5 months ago. So we don't know how much say he had over anything before that time either, you know?
Okay. Okay. And I understand. I'm understanding. So, Judge is saying that he did say that he was Nigerian and a Muslim. Yeah, so that makes a difference too. So to your point, Jr. Right, and here I think we've got Ron back in here. Let's see if we can add him back in. Hey, Ron, how's the mic doing now? The headphone, Ron. So anyway, so the next, I do like that he opened up, and to Ron's point, it was possible, very possible that with production he had to because it was going to come out. So it's a good thing that he did. Let me see if I pop you out and back in and see if that helps. Ron, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, perfect, perfect. Okay, now to our next date. And speaking of Bello's other choice, Dominique. Dominique actually went out on a date this week with Cardi, and they basically went. I think it was some kind of what would you call it, Jr? Like it was some kind of competition where they were kind of like a friendly little date thing where they were doing quizzes. like trivia.
Over here, they call that a pub quiz.
Uh, it, it's called what?
A pub quiz. Basically, you go to a drinking spot, and then there's like a
Okay.
quiz, and you team up, and the best, the table that gets the most answers correct wins some type of prize usually.
Ooh, like free drinks, for example.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
vouchers or something else. But yeah, it's quite common. Something that's been happening for a long time.
Okay. So they did the pub quiz, but they got the Backstreet Boy questions and all of the their pub quiz was actually like pop, and Dominique wanted to know, well, hey, how come we can't take it back to R&B and the Motown sound? Because I would have got all the Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin questions. We would have got all of those, but they asking us about the Backstreet Boys. What'd you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah. They don't really pick their own dates, so some dates pop, some don't. uh, yeah. Some of these dates kind of planned, not on the fly, but to the point where they didn't know. They probably didn't know They say, okay, we're gonna do trivia, but they probably didn't know exactly who was doing the trivia. If it was an African American situation or different. So, like I said, that's on production. They don't. I ain't blame that on Cardi and Dom. They just got to go with it.
Yeah.
Bam says she got all them questions right. You like me and Tom Jones, huh, Babs? You got it all right. Okay. So yeah, they did okay, but they actually came up with their name. What was that? Cardom.
Carden.
Cardone.
Yeah.
Cardom.
But
Yeah, I thought that
well,
was kind of cute. They took his name and her name and mushed them together, right?
yeah, but Aubrey, you said they did all right. They didn't get a single question right. They
Nah,
actually.
they didn't get none of that right.
Oh no, they didn't. I'm sorry. I meant just saying their names, but no, they did terrible. You're right. They did terrible. They
Yeah,
actually.
that wasn't an African American establishment. But
I
you
think
could
I've
tell by
seen
the.
this one. Yeah, I think I've seen this place. I'm looking. I'm trying. It was at Ferndale or Royal Oak, which is a suburb of Detroit. But yeah, it definitely wasn't a R&B type topic. But
No.
it was all right. They seemed like they had a good time. They made the best of it. Meanwhile, we have Lauren and Darius. Darius brought a gift. Like he says, I'm not showing up empty handed, and it was Lauren's actual favorite adult beverage. It looked like, and she said, "Well, how did you know this?" He said, when you were talking, I took note. Now there's a man that listens, Darius, a man that listens, right? And we go around.
Let me say one quick thing about that Dom and Cardi thing. 'Cause I saw a lot of people in the
Okay,
Ready to Love chat talking about, oh, we didn't see that chemistry happening or whatever like that, or them together as a match. And I'm like, when he went for the kiss and thought he was about to get a kiss, and it was is nowhere now on the radar. This is not that is a week 6. No way. She is not feeling him.
yeah.
There ain't
Well,
such thing as slow roll, and ain't none of that. There ain't no such thing as next time. You should be able to get a kiss by now if that person is feeling you, or they're not gonna move away or embarrass you on the set.
Well, now that's a good point. I got a question for you. A lot of people seem to think that she is like the kiss whisperer. What do you feel like? Because, already she's had Devon lean in for a kiss. Now Cardi leaned in for, she's like the kiss whisperer. She has got some seductive skills about herself. What do you think, Ron?
No, she's flirting with the nerd with the off brand guys, and they're feeling it because she's an actual very good flirt. I do give her that. She knows how to do that. But yeah, if Bella went in for the kiss, we're gonna get the kiss. Them other two flunkies didn't have a prayer in the world, but she has a way of making them feel like they the man. You know what I mean? Like, so she's really good at giving them that no, you got a chance. They don't got a chance in the world and stuff. And you can get fooled like that and Ready to Love. You don't really, I mean, if you don't really know where your place is and what's going on. But it's a good thing. Here's the problem. Cardi and Devon, both of them, they didn't get the picture. Once I go in for a kiss on a woman and she moves away, I'm done with that woman already. I'm moving on to the next one and stuff like that.
Okay.
These dudes still thinking they got a chance, which is this amateur of dating. They don't have enough experience. You know what I mean? You have experienced daters and non-experienced daters on the show usually, and they're in more in the non-experienced dating category. So, like I said, those are the guys that the women like Don love because she can get throw a little flirt with them, a little eye contact, and get a few compliments, and she's gonna get their vote every single time in the lounge, and had to do nothing for it.
Yes, that's true. That's a good point. JR, what are your thoughts?
Gets a kiss, if he leans in, and the other guys, they're not getting it. And that's because she's only fitting in to a certain extent. She has to give them hope. It keeps her safe on the show from elimination. But that's as far as it goes. I don't think she's actually genuinely interested. Maybe Devon gives her some curiosity to some degree.
None.
But
None,
I really think her connection's Bello.
Here's how you know the difference. If Bello would have went in for a kiss and Dominique would have pulled back, there would be a problem.
Yeah, there would.
There would be a problem. He'd be looking at her like she crazy. Like, he'd be like, and the other guys just took it. Oh, well, maybe next time. That's the difference in confidence in guys and what you're dealing with there. Like I said, if I went in for a kiss and I put myself in that predicament to go in for a kiss on camera and when the girls backed off, we will have a problem.
Exactly. And we've seen Bello get the kiss already. So, in the previous date when he came over to her house, they shared a kiss and there was no hesitation. She actually enjoyed it. So he's the only one so far that's on that level with her. The other guys, like I said, she's just doing what she's there to do, which is just be polite, give everyone a chance to get to know her. But when it comes to kissing on camera or anything like that, she's only reserving that for the person she really has the connection with, and that's Bello.
That's just how it goes. When you're not on the level, you say, "Oh, okay, maybe next time when I go in for the kiss." When you are on a level, you look at the girl and go, "Who the hell you think you are? Not giving me no kiss." The difference.
Oh my goodness! Now on this day, so what we have is we have Shannon. She describes herself as she was studying, finishing up one of her graduate programs. She actually passed out, hit the whole left side of her head and her face against a concrete wall, and she was concussed. And she says to this day, this was some 5-6 years ago, and to this day she's still having some impact from that concussion. This is something I didn't know about her. I felt like she was being very vulnerable, allowing people to know, because there are a lot of people. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it, but there are some friends and some people that you date that if they ever hear that you were seriously ill in the hospital, had a surgery, they don't want to be bothered with you anymore. They feel like you are spoiled goods or something to that effect. What did you think about her explanation and her sharing, JR?
I just thought she was being vulnerable. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't like she did anything crazy and like misadventure. It's just an accident. So I don't think they can really penalize her in any way. But yeah, it's unfortunate. She still has lingering side effects, but they don't seem to be impacting her behavior on the show or anything. So
no, it doesn't.
No, she still seems to be up there as one of the favorites for, the guys to get to know.
Yes, indeed. And Ron, what did you think about her sharing?
This one hit home to me. One, I lost a cousin in Detroit to the same thing. She had those type of episodes and fell out at the ATM machine and hit her head on a rock and died.
Oh, sorry.
And I also know because I was in a bad car accident going to the reunion on my season and was in a bad concussion. My whole time on the reunion, I'm in concussion. I'm barely dazed and can't do anything. And I still have side effects to it this day. When you got to use your brain, like she has to, in a very competitive manner, daily, and you're slower on something that's not in your control because of a concussion or something at your head, it throws your confidence off sometimes.
Okay.
Where you're thinking about, man, where could I have been, or where how could I have thought this out if I had the same brain I had before the concussion or before I had the what was going on, and it kind of dampens your confidence sometimes. So I understand exactly what she was trying to say and the vulnerability she was bringing up.
Oh, okay. Wow. I had never even looked at it like that. That's a very excellent point. Never looked at it like this. Okay, so guys, on the flip side, we've got Darius who says that his vulnerable moment was when he used to get out the car when going to school, that the girls would just line up and they would all kiss his hand and say, "Good morning, King Darius." What were your thoughts about that, JR?
Man, I was thinking, what kind of vulnerability is that? That's not really a vulnerable thing to share. That's actually something to brag about, I guess. But that's not really that wasn't applicable to the task that was set. Um, and I'm surprised they didn't use that against him to some degree, because people want to hear about a trauma or a pain or something you've overcome, and that was none of the above. So yeah, it seemed like he was just saying that to tell them, he gets all the girls or whatever. But that wasn't particularly a vulnerable story, in my opinion.
No. Ryan, your take on it? I agree with you, JR.
Yeah, yeah, Darius gonna put himself in a bad situation, because what he doesn't understand is Ready to Love is not the Darius show, and it never will be. Ready to Love is about the women, not the men. We are just the side gestures to the women on a show where 95% of the audience is women. So it ain't gonna be his time to shine, or the Darius show where I'm there to smooth it. Women are gonna be like, no, I'm here to shine. So if I don't got a man that's propping me up and making me shine, and it's about him and he the diva, I'm not gonna pick that guy, because this is our show. This is not your show at all.
Darius,
You supposed to be sitting there in your little fur, shutting up, making me look good.
Darius, maybe all the heat from that fur coat is
Yeah, he's supposed to be the eye candy, making somebody else look good. You ain't supposed to be sitting there trying to be the smoothest, wearing all this expensive stuff, outdressing the ladies, trying to say all the right stuff at the right time. Nah, man, like you got it wrong. You on the wrong show. You need to find a man's show like The Bachelor or something to be on. This is a woman's show, and the women are gonna pick the man that makes them look the best and not try to overshine them. I remember it was a comedian back in the day, and he said, you know what I mean? A man should be in the club. He should be doing this 1-2. He said these new age men want to get on the dance floor and do the splits and dance and shine up the woman and stuff. He's like, we want to see the woman in her sexual element doing her thing, looking sexy, and we just sit back and we hit our 1-2 and we let her shine. Now this dude taking it as a competition with the women. Relax, let them girls shine, man. They don't gotta say.
He don't want to. He's the peacock. See, that's the problem.
Yeah, you don't want to let women shine. And you see, it's throwing. They ain't liking that. That doesn't work on this type of show. He got to read the audience. This is the woman's show, man. This wasn't your break. You can get your break, but you gotta. It comes by propping the women up, being that type of guy. It ain't I gotta be the smoothest. I gotta wear the most expensive stuff. I gotta say this. I gotta say that. I gotta let everybody know. That ain't there. Not Ready to Love. Other shows get away with it. This one, no.
Judge says he's too self-centered. Would you agree with that, JR? What do you think?
Absolutely. It's very self-centered. Like I said, sharing that, I'm not sure how he thought that was going to improve his chance with any of the ladies. Like, for example, would it have worked on you? If you were sitting down with a conversation with Darius and you're expecting him to share something vulnerable and he shared that, what would you think?
No, because in my mind, I'm already marking down next to his name in star for narc. I mean, it's giving narc vibes when you start talking about women bowing down, kissing your hand or kissing the ring like King Darius? Why? Like why were they doing that at school? What was going on with you at school that you would be that important? Like, it doesn't make sense to
I
me.
think he meant it as a joke, but the fact of the matter is,
But he was
you
supposed
got
to
to
be
be
being
careful.
vulnerable. Yeah, go ahead.
He's doing what he thinks he needs to do to get the girl. But Ready to Love is not about getting the girl; it's about getting the relationship. This is a relationship show. It's not a get the girl show. And there's a line in between that. Some people don't figure out, or some people don't. So he gives me as I'm not trying to get the relationship in this show. I'm trying to just win the girl. And we've seen how that has inspired in the past for guys who try to go that route instead of really saying, hey, do I really understand that when I leave this show with somebody that we are now automatically in a full-fledged relationship that the whole world has seen and expect us to be in? And we need to be working like that day 2 of when that show is over and what that really means and everything else like that. It ain't for the week. It ain't for the fun of the games either. Like, you are in a relationship right after.
Right after, immediately after. But you know what?
Immediately after, everybody's if they see you, they're asking, where is she? If they see she's asking, where are you? Everybody in the streets, anybody around, everybody in the DMs. So therefore, you even better be able to act like y'all in a relationship, but y'all better get along with it, because that's what everybody wants to see. They don't want to see you get the girl and then go off on your Darius campaign after.
Even though, and that can be tricky now, to your point, Ryan, that can be tricky with this show, because even though we won't see what you taped till maybe 6 months, a year and a half, even after it's taped. So you guys, you got to really think about that. Do you want to stand alone, or do you want to stand as a couple when the show ends? That's a very good point.
They got, and like I say, a lot of people that when it ain't strong, it doesn't last because it has to go through all that time and things of that nature before it even gets out there like that. And you can't fake it that long because you're going to want to date somebody else, or he's going to want to, you know what I mean? And people going to be all on stalking, they're going to be looking at your social media, seeing who else is posting and stuff like that. And it's just, everybody's in your privacy. So you can't even fake it and date somebody else. So you guys even together or you're not. So it's really hard. But I think when people, guys like Darius who just, I'm smooth, I'm here to win. Yeah, but that ain't what the show is about. The show is about getting into a relationship. And if you ain't ready to do that and you can't hold that down for a long period of time, it's tough.
Yeah. And also, does the story, how did the story he shared relate to how he actually conducts himself in relationships? Like, if he's accustomed to girls doing that when he was much younger, what is he expecting his girlfriend or his wife to do as an adult?
That's the part. What I'm not gonna even say what. Anyway,
but you saw he getting a lot of heat. You saw it with his ex-girlfriend posted all that stuff on there, and he got all that heat.
No, but tell us about that. I'm going to leave it on this picture a little bit longer, and you tell us about what he.
Well, I don't know the full story. I was kind of braced in, but apparently, she just got on there and said a bunch of things. How he borrowed a car, took a car, was riding around in a Rolls Royce, and her Rolls Royce. She bought all the furs. She
bought all these furs that he's been wearing.
He kind of has a thing of using women for the shine, and he kind of wrote something saying, "Girl, take that down. You messing up my celebrity status." So it kind of showed, like, he cares a little, maybe too much about the TV and making everything perfect all the time. And like I said, yeah, but like I said, he's gonna really find out and understand that people really want to see. They watch the show for the relationship content of it, not necessarily to find the smoothest brother in Detroit.
Right. He kind of took it the wrong way. Well, we're gonna move on. What did you guys think? So we had Nicole finally gets her second date with Ed, and she has asked him questions. She's poured out her heart, and now she's asked him about one of his most painful, emotionally, not physically, experiences that he's had in life. And he basically comes back with, well, I have a very high pain threshold, so I can't really give you anything. And JR, to your point, what you said earlier, this would have been a moment maybe where he could have introduced the heartbreak of 6 months ago. And then she also said in her confessional that, hey, this guy's been through a whole divorce with his wife, who he shares a child with, and he's saying that he's not had any pain. Anybody who's ever been through a divorce knows they're very painful.
Right. But he just didn't want to share it. He just didn't feel comfortable, or that's not the type of person he is. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
he yeah.
He shared it at the hot yoga session, though. So what's the difference?
To Ed.
Ed didn't share it at the hot yoga.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I got my people mixed up.
Yeah, you're talking about Chris.
Chris.
Yeah. Chris shared about his previous relationship, and it didn't go down well.
Yes, correct. You're right. My bad.
But yeah, so it looked like this is the deal breaker, because Nicole said if a guy can't be vulnerable with her, then that's a deal breaker for him. And he obviously failed the assignment. He had nothing to contribute. I don't think he wanted to go into detail about the ex, the high school sweetheart, the child. I don't think he wanted to open up to her about any of that stuff. Could be a variety of reasons. Could be because it might put her off him. It could be because he just isn't comfortable airing that type of stuff on TV. But ultimately, that was the task, and he failed. He failed that task. He couldn't think of anything, even if it wasn't to do with relationship. He also shared previously that he lost a brother or something. Like, remember when they had to bring something that meant something to them at one of their houses? Mm-hmm. He mentioned that a brother or a friend of his passed away during service in the military or something like that. So that could have been something that he elaborated on, but he chose not to.
Now that's a good point. That's an excellent point. And you, Ron, what did you think about this conversation and him just basically seeming like he was emotionally unavailable on the date?
Yeah, he took me as a guy that from a guy like myself who was at one point has been emotionally unavailable. He took me as a guy that was emotionally unavailable. And she knew she said when she met him 15 years ago, he was emotionally unavailable. So I guess think it didn't change. And like I said, when a guy is emotionally unavailable and he's asked that question, he's always gonna take the tough road of nah, I'm good. Everything, you know what I mean? Because he don't want to be in a situation where he's vulnerable and stuck towards. He doesn't have those. He was trying to think of something, you could see it, but he didn't have those experiences to really blurt out like that because he's been emotional available in all his relationships. And it is also coming from her, and I think he really doesn't know if he likes her or not. I mean, he's flattered by the fact that it's obvious right now that he knows that she likes him, because all the cast, and she's been telling it to all the cast, and all the women in the cast have been saying, go call him up on the phone saying, "Ooh boy, that girl love you." Trust me, that's what the conversation in the back end is. So he already knows that she's flabbergasted about him. Like, that's, her say all be all. And he's just kind of rolling with it cool, but he is not at no point willing or ready to tell her that he has any feelings for her, that he likes her, he wants to be with her.
Yeah. I mean, she's got to snap out of it, but it's coming. It's really coming. We get the next date. I think that's Ashley and Bello. Ashley and Bello, they are starting to look like they got a little chemistry. What do you think, JR?
Yeah, they look like they have a connection. There isn't any real reason why they wouldn't, as from what I see. But do they have the potential to be like the top connection for each of them? Maybe. But while Dominique's there, I think Bello and Dominique are kind of more locked in. He's already invested a lot of time and talked about helping Dominique with her future plans and things last episode. But yeah, this is just probably a backup connection for both of them. because she likes Darius anyway. So yeah, it's a good date. They got on very well, make each other laugh, as you can see. But yeah, it's whether they can actually become each other's top connection. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Any thoughts on the two of them, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, Ashley's a it girl. She's a top girl. She's one of those.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, and she's one of those women I can already tell with the camera situation that she looks better in person. So you're not even seeing the full beauty aspect of her because the camera, the way it is, and where her body's type and everything's shaped, the way they put the 15 pounds of hit in the, you know what I mean? She's gonna look totally probably a little different and stuff in person and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. So she's definitely a it girl, meaning all the guys eventually gonna shoot their shot at some point. And basically, Darius can't get too comfortable because the fact of the matter is, when, like I said, on this show, production likes to humble guys like that. And she's the perfect tool to do that with because, like I said, they can match her with anybody. She's gonna find her a match. So yeah, can I see her and Bello together? Yeah. I can see her with any of the guys, you know what I mean? So it ain't nothing in stone with that. But what I do know is she's gonna match up with somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she definitely match up with somebody. So the ladies get to the ladies' lounge. Tommy wants to hear all there is to hear about who matched up, what was a good match, who did the ladies like, and who did they not like, and more importantly, and the ladies get to spitting out some names. They spit out Chris's name. Chris is not he's a little bit too chatty. He's not able to have conversation. He's not listening really well. Then you got some people mentioning Chris, right?
Yeah, you just mentioned Chris.
I'm sorry, you got some people mentioning Ed. Ed is not. Ed is he's not opening up. He's not vulnerable, and he's particularly not vulnerable to Nicole, right? So the ladies are challenged to take them out on a date and let them know, if they're not ready to love. And I don't know who it is, but that noise, that background noise is a little distracting for me. I'm sorry. So we get out on the date. We got Chris out on the date, and Chris is doing his best Marvin Gaye imitation with the little cap. And he's basically being told by Donna that he's not ready to love. You got the same thing with Ed. Ed's out on the date. And even though he's saying he's open, it's mighty funny. The body language is giving closed because he's sitting there with his arms closed, right? So he's maybe not ready to love either. I'm sorry, I skipped. I wanted to talk about, I don't see it though. I wanted to go back and talk about the young lady we were just talking about, the little delusional. Let's go back here because I don't have the photograph that I'm thinking of. This clip. Okay, so Donna. I'm sorry, not Donna. Who is that? Guys, could you mute that? No. The noise though. Could you mute your mic? Okay, whoever the noise is going on. Okay, so Nicole is in the women's lounge. I want to go back to this moment. So in the women's lounge, the ladies were asking her, like, are you, it's 15 years ago that you had this schoolgirl, college girl crush on Ed, and basically he's not done anything. There's not been any movement. It's 15 years later, and he's still not making a play for you. He's not pursuing you. He's not really showing any real interest, and he's not opening up. What did you think about that, JR? Do you think that the ladies are right? Is she being a little delusional? Is she stuck in the past? What do you think's going on?
Yeah, definitely could be she's stuck in the past. I think she's got a picture or perception of what a relationship with him would be like because of how she feels about him. But in reality, it doesn't look like it's going to pan out that way because he isn't the same stage of life that she is, nowhere near, or at least he isn't expressing it. So I can see why she received that feedback from the ladies as well as Tommy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the idea that they chose her to send her 15 plus year crush home? Do you think that was right, or do you feel like that she could have been traumatized and that's why she was so emotional on that date?
I think they selected her to do it because it's a way of saying goodbye to the old and in with the new. Like, um, if she's capable of sending him home, then she's capable of moving on from him. So that's why I
Yeah,
think they chose her.
yeah,
Yeah, but
kind of like medicate, kind of like not medication, but kind of like therapy, kind of like a form of therapy. Ron, what were you about to say?
she should not listen to anybody on there, including Tommy.
Oh my
Don't
God!
let them girls send your man home because it's very hard for them to send somebody home when you got one person fighting so hard and saying, "Hey,
Oh,
no, that's my match. My match. What y'all doing?" So they tricking her and, and then sending her match home.
send your
And guess
man
who will be
home.
the next one sent home?
He
You.
gonna send you home, right? I just thought about that. Good point.
Yeah, don't let Tommy trick you with like, oh, you 50. Come nah. If you like him, it's your right to like him. It's your right to pour into him. And I'll tell you what.
But
Them men that are emotionally unavailable and they ain't sure if they like you or not, you wouldn't know what they do like. They like them some loyalty. And if you stay there strong on loyalty and stuff, that man, I done seen the man change in a heartbeat. He'd get right on the program and stuff because he'd be like looking at the other girls as fake and looking at you as the real one and say, okay, this is what I need in my life. Yeah. She needs to, if that's the guy she likes, she needs to stay true to it. And don't listen to nobody else on that show. This is your journey, this and that. They ain't doing you no favors. They trying to get rid of you, him, and everybody else who ain't one of their matches.
you say it's a competition, huh?
It's a competition. At the end of the day, you gotta think about that. They're not there looking out for your best interests. That ain't what it is. So, like I said, if you like your man, you need to stand up and fight for him. Which I thought she was trying to do. That whole crying. So, what I mean? It's one thing. I never liked the crying on the show, male or female, because it's very hard to cry on a set. Camera, what I mean? You got to have those people make a decision that they're going to cry before the camera even show. I believe. Like you made a decision that day you was going to cry. So that's a little much. But, I'm hoping that, that she, shows her loyalty and things of that nature and try to win them over and whatnot. That's the guy that she likes. But I don't like the scenario of them telling her basically, it's been 15 years. You can't.
You can't like this man no more. You gotta
Yeah, you can't like him no more. That ain't that got nothing to do with anything. Y'all worry about y'all connections.
Exactly. And are they gonna suggest the guy that is for her then? Since they're so opinionated about how Ed's not the guy for her, are they gonna give her advice on who to choose or who to move forward with?
No, they're gonna get rid of her.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I think more so what Ron's saying, but that's so sweet what you're saying, no, JR. That's so sweet. It'll never happen. But guys, well, okay, what do you see for next week? We've got coming up next week. The guys are going to introduce their exes to the ladies. And it's starting with Vince. Vince has got a very fine ex-lady, and they're sitting all the three of them, Donna, Vince, and his ex-lady, having a conversation. And Vince seems a little bit nervous. I wonder why. Ron, any thoughts about why he might be nervous about the date with the ex?
Yeah. I mean, he probably didn't know what his ex is gonna say, because sometimes you ain't talked to these exes in a long time. You're gonna be on the show.
Right.
So, he's trying to get it right. Plus, I don't know how comfortable he is with the Donna girl. I missed episode in between and stuff, so I didn't know if these guys they got that stronger connection.
They just started on the connection. Would you say, JR, what, the last couple of episodes, the two of them starting to hit it off?
Yeah, it was last episode. I think she likes his sense of humor and things like that. So they recently started talking. But yeah, I think I'd be nervous if I was Vince too, because with Donna there, anything the ex says can be picked up on and used to judge him. So yeah, I can see why he's nervous for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that she's gonna do a lot of digging, and she wants to find out any dirt or any tea that she can find out about him. So I'm not mad at her about that, because dating is all about collecting data. On the other hand, you've got Darius with the fluffy white something on his jacket. I don't know what that is exactly. But you got him on a date, and he's with, looks like, Ashley. And are both these ladies? Is that Ashley and Ashante, or is that just Ashley? But anyway, these guys are having their date. They look like they're having lunch, and I guess she's going to find out everything she needs to find out. And ultimately, they finally end up kissing, Ashley and Darius. So I'm not so sure how these things are going to go, but I'm sure one of these dates is going to be off the chain. What do you suspect, Jr.?
Yeah, well, there's a clip of Cardi's date where with his ex, and that looks like that goes out of control completely. There's some type of coochie talk and who's in control of it or something like that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The
So
date
that looks like that.
something about how are you about intimacy, basically she's asking the ladies, because she says he's really into that, right?
Right.
But who was that talking? That big woman wasn't his ex, was it?
I don't know what you got against full size women, Ron.
Nothing against full size women, but come on, you you find another ex. That ain't the ex you bring on the TV. You get the other ex.
I don't know.
You get the ex after the ex after the ex, or if you can't even find that, you do with some of the girls. Then you go find your college sweetheart.
Ron, she could have been his college sweetheart. And 4 kids later, she could have gained weight. Like, you don't expect us to stay the same size. Do all of you men stay the same size?
It ain't that, but the matter is you bringing that person to your crush. You already ain't subjected as the top dude, and then you bring in this big. The woman gonna be like, "Girl, man, if this what you used to, you ain't about to get." Who are you gonna date with, dog? So you gonna look at that.
Right.
Yeah, well, that does happen. I think that does happen. Sometimes
those women are judging them exes to see if that guy can get a girl on their level and see if they tripping or not. So if the ex ain't looking as good as them or looking better than them, they're gonna be turned off. It's just that's how women are. Come on, Aubrey, you know women's nature.
Okay, now wait a minute, JR. What do you have to say about this? Because I hear you back there co-signing Ryan. I am shocked.
I'm definitely co-signing because sometimes that judgmental spirit that some women have, they're judging your ex and they're looking at not only how she looks, but what role did you play and why you're not together anymore. So that could be used against you. But the women have to be careful because next week one of them will be going home. Right, we had a double elimination of the men this week. So next week when they meet their exes, they have to be careful with how they move because one of them is going to be sent home. Or it could even be a double. We don't know. So they can't be too critical. And they have to be basically able to take the information in and then laugh and smile for a week or so until it's back to the women in control.
Good point. Well, any thoughts, JR? That being said, any thoughts on who might be offered up? Might Nicole be offered up as one of the women to be on the chopping block?
Yeah, I'm going to say Nicole and Donna.
Nicole and Donna. Okay.
Yeah. Which one was Donna?
But Donna's the one that Vince likes. She's light complexion, very buxomy woman. Let me see.
Okay, okay. I haven't seen a lot of super a lot of camera time with her.
The mathematician girl.
The mathematician.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's Donna. Okay. And you say who's the other one on the chopping block?
Nicole, one we were talking about that had the crush on her.
On Ed, the one who said.
Oh, okay. Ed. Yeah.
This one here. Let's see. Why does my pointer not want to work? Okay, that's Nicole right there. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. Chime in.
But yeah, on that thing. But I was saying there, I don't think that was because if you can't find an ex, you can't automatically always find an ex for those things. But sometimes you bring in a close friend.
Oh, okay. And it
So I
could
think
be
that might have been a close friend. The card he had on there.
we have seen that. You're right. We have
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah. So I
We've
ain't
seen
saying
that
that's an ex.
multiple times.
That's what I said. I was like, who? That's why I started off with. Who is that woman? But it sounded like it was a close friend. Seemed like a close friend.
Mm.
Very well could. Ryan, you know what? I'm sick of you, Ryan. Good night. Don't even stick around for the after conversation. Good night. I'm hanging up on you. Good Lord. Guys, Ryan, tell the people where they can find you in case they want to holler back at you about this conversation.
It's a real conversation, but everything's real at Instagram. I am Ron Freeman. Same as Facebook. Chime in.
Chime in. Okay. And JR, tell the people where they can find you and what you've got going on your different platforms, please.
Yeah, you can find me on JRX TV on Instagram, JRX TV on TikTok and YouTube. Sorry, Life is Reality on YouTube. Variety of different types of content. Yeah, tune in, check in, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, whatever you want to do. It's all good.
Oh, awesome, Miss Kim. Awesome, Miss Kim Bling Bar. A good friend of mine. We go way, way back here on these YouTube streets. Guys, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. I see multiple ones of you have been here from the beginning. You hung out till the end. I hope you've hit that like button and you've subscribed. Go ahead and follow JRX TV and Ron Freeman, of course. I don't know who that is back there. Is that you, JR? That has to be you. You're either eating or you're shuffling papers back there in the background. But anyway,
No,
nonetheless, so then that must be Ron. But anyway,
That's
we'll
me.
talk.
I'm shuffling through papers.
Okay, we'll chat. We'll chat about that later. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for being here. Really have made my night tonight, and we'll see you back here same time, same place, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. at actually Aubrey. Okay, guys, we're on our way out now. See you next time.